It's just, is this working? Oh, good, we're there. Hi, I'm Gareth Lyness, Marketing and Supply Chain Manager for Blue River Dairy. And about this time last year, my General Manager, Robert Bookout, stood up here and spoke. And today it falls to me because he's been skiving off over in Australia at his brother's wedding. And so I'm basically going to come in and take it from where we left off last year and just give you a quick update on what's been happening with Blue River in the infant nutritional space. And it's been a really exciting year. About 3 years ago, I was living and working in Melbourne, and my son said H. And I was like, that's it, we're going back to Invercargill. And I thought I was going to go back to, leaving the rat race and a nice 8:30 to 5 p.m. job, and it was going to be, pretty relaxed, and it just hasn't worked out how I planned. But anyway, for all the right reasons, things have been going very well with Blue River. So just to catch up for those who don't know and to give a quick overview of Blue River, we make three products, or three product ranges: sheep milk cheese, sheep whole milk powder, and infant formula. And far and away, the majority of what we make these days is infant formula or infant and toddler nutritionals, and about 95% of our products are in that category, and they exclusively are exported to China. It's very much about branded, value-added retail products that we create. We don't want to play in the commodity game. We've been there and done that, and we know it's not the space you want to get stuck in. At the moment, we're up to about 58 staff and still hiring. If we can attract you down to the sunny climes of Invercargill, then get in touch, let me know. We'd very much like to see you down south. And as you can see there, we're also hiring about up to, depending on our production schedule, 50 temps or casuals in a given week, which is one of the challenges with growing a business fast in the regions, is actually being able to find the staff to sustain that growth. And you also have the risk, if you hire everyone at once, you erode your culture. So you've got to make sure you hire the right people, or you end up hiring twice. And then the overview of the business as a group is, as most of you will know, Blue River Dairy was bought by Chinese owners, Mr. Chen, in 2015. And Mr. Chen had previously bought two different infant nutrition businesses to IPO level. He's the founder of a very successful infant nutrition business that now has an annual revenue of over $1 billion. So he's a very good person to have bought the business, and he was also very foresighted. So at the same, or the year after he acquired Blue River Dairy, who had developed the world's first sheep milk infant formula, he also went to Italy, and in the island of Sardinia, where they've got 3.5 million milking ewes, there's just one spray dryer, and he bought a controlling share of that. So he had a very clever and long-term outlook, because that secured the whey ingredients that we really need for the Chinese market in the infant formula space. So our 2017 highlights. I think we introduced at this conference last year that we branched out. We'd obviously started and had a heritage in sheep milk, but in order to grow as fast as we had the potential to do and fully utilize our plant, we introduced a sheep, in addition to our sheep milk formula, we introduced a cow formula and a goat formula range. And that really allowed us to ramp up a production and can off more product, which we needed to do to get a return on the investment. Shortly after that, we were able to go to 2 shifts and work 17 hours a day to ramp up production. And then a really, really significant thing happened in September. So we got our CFDA registration for 3 different brands. Now, in the China market, infant formula is a highly fragmented market. So there are 2,500 brands on the shelves. In New Zealand, for example, 99% of sales are 4 brands. And China's a very, very different market. And so the regulators sort of stood back from this a while ago and said, this isn't necessarily a good thing. And they came in and they wanted to make sure they started to take control, and so they didn't have lots and lots and lots of cowboys out there just producing small amounts or repacking the same product in a different colour tin over and over. And so the first thing they did was they regulated the plants, the places manufacturing the product. So the CNCA registration process was what actually led to Mr. Chen buying Blue River Dairy 3 years ago, when the original business didn't have market access, but he saw the potential in it. And that was one way in which the regulators started to control the flow of many, many thousand brands of infant formula coming into China. The second way took effect on the 1st of January this year, and that is the CFDA registration. So what that is they said, look, instead of the average manufacturer having 10 different brands, again, what is often the same thing in a different colour tin, we're going to restrict you to 3. And not only are we going to restrict you to 3 brands, you have to demonstrate that these 3 brands are significantly different from each other. Well, for Blue River Dairy, we were able to say we've got a sheep formula, a goat formula, and a cow formula. And we are the only New Zealand manufacturer who has 3 CFDA registered brands, which is really important, and I'll come to that later. So the regulators are sweeping 3/4 of the brands off the shelves, and it creates a huge opportunity. And we're trying to move as fast as possible to capitalise on that opportunity. So something I guess that's also worth explaining about the Chinese market is a lot of the distribution channels rely on a number of facings, which is why you see so many brands. So the strategy of Blue River is to try and maximise those facings. For example, if in Province A, you've got Baby Store Chain A, and they have goat milk formula A. Baby Chain Store B do not want goat milk formula A because Baby Chain Store A have it. They want a different one. And that's why you've seen this huge number of different brands occur. So for us, it's still very much about trying to maximise those facings and to have 3 brands to leverage the sales channels and the production and the distribution networks all the way through is a very effective way of doing that. So in September, not long after that, we actually were rated the 10th fastest growing business in New Zealand in the Deloitte Fast 50 Index, which we're very happy with. And we're the number 1 agribusiness. We're the only agribusiness in the top 50. And to put it into context, although I entered us in the agribusiness category, we probably historically have been agribusiness. It'd probably be more apt to have put us in manufacturing, and the highest ranked manufacturer was 25th. So a lot of your top 10s are technology businesses and finance businesses, things that pop up very quickly but can also go down very quickly. So in our space, it's a really incredible achievement, especially given that the threshold, as it's measured on a percentage basis, for entering this was sort of about 1/10 of what we actually started from 3 years ago where it was measured. So in 2016, we produced about 400,000 cans of infant formula. It was purely sheep infant formula. In 2017, when we introduced the cow and the goat, as well as continuing to grow the sheep very rapidly, we made 2.7 million cans of infant formula. And in 2018, we're targeting 7.5 million cans of infant formula. So it's phenomenal growth, and that's why I'm not getting to check out of the office at 5 o'clock each day, which is very disappointing. It's something that we couldn't possibly have done ourselves, and I think Nick mentioned earlier about the importance of collaboration within the industry, and it's exceptionally true. So the only way we've been able to achieve what we have in our growth is being able to focus on what we do well, which is branding and marketing in China, and in New Zealand side, dry blending and canning off finished product. We've had to work with some really good partners. For example, Food Waikato to manufacture our base, and Tara Ag supplying us the fresh milk that we turn into powder for an ingredient in that. There are other partners that I won't go into as outside of the sheep space, but that has been the backbone of us being able to grow, and I think it will continue to be the case. Collaboration and partnerships are essential at this stage of our growth. So, to future plans. We've started the work on building a new plant in Invercargill. We expect to be up and running by September. This is going to be a new dry blending and canning plant. And the reason I went into the detail earlier about explaining the facings in the Chinese market is this new plant will allow us to have new facings because each plant is restricted to 3 brands. So with the new plant, once we get that up and running in September, it will be capable of doing slightly more than what our current plant does. So more than double our capacity. We will have 3 new brands, and again we're going to employ the same strategy, which makes really good sense and has been embraced by the regulators in China, of having a sheep, a goat and a cow based formulation range in order to be able to offer consumers choice, with sheep being a very, very important part of that mix and what we consider the premium highest end of the offering. Another really relevant and important piece of work the business is currently doing is we've developed a infant nutrition research and development centre, which involves collaboration between research scientists from China, Italy and New Zealand, including Blue River, the Chinese Nutrition Society, Ag Research and the University of Cagliari. And they're very much looking to keep an eye on the trends and the regulations and help us innovate for new products, and also develop that research where we all know there's a gap at that level where we hear these great things about sheep milk, and there's a lot of work to be doing in the proving space, and we're very much focused on the infant nutrition end of that. And we think that that's likely to have knock-on benefits for the rest of the industry, as much scientific research will be. So, our goal is to be the global young leader in the infant nutrition space, or infant and toddler nutrition space. And I've used the character young deliberately because it without specifying Mian or Shangyang, it literally means sheep or goat. It's not specific. So if we were just to target ourselves between the global sheep infant nutrition leader, well, we're already there. So we've set a bit more of a big, hairy, audacious goal, and embracing the goat side of that as well. We didn't take it too far and try and be the world cow leader, because it's probably already taken. All right. And thank you very much. Enjoy your hunt.